And welcome to Let's Talk Stroke. I am your host and stroke survivor, Jerry Wall. For those of you that are new here, I started doing this show to bring awareness to stroke, TBI, aphasia, mental health, brain injury, really. And I also wanted to provide a platform for all survivors to share their journeys from all across the world, and as well as bringing on experts in brain health so they can share their knowledge. So this morning, my guest is Michelle Jensen, and we'll talk to her and get her story, and also hear about stroke sweat squad. Got it. But anyway, also please ask questions. Don't be shy. Ask questions and make comments. And also, if you have not done it, please ask questions and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let's Talk Stroke. So please sit back, enjoy the show, and any questions, please let me know, or Michelle, really. All right, good morning, you guys, and Kumad, Salud, Jocelyn, the ones that are here, Jennifer, Zane, nice to see you guys. So let's bring on Michelle.
This is a reminder.
Good
morning, Jerry.
Good morning, Michelle. Nice to see you.
You too.
Absolutely. So I just want to make sure you can see the comments on your right side there.
Yep, I see Jennifer and Zane and Jocelyn, Salud, Aloha, and Kamad.
Yes, absolutely. So good to have you here. I'm glad. And Lynn, nice to see you. I know I get confused about talking to you, and I love looking at the comments too. But let's just start now. You're 12 years post-stroke, right?
13 this month. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. So if we rewind the clock, who was Michelle before that?
13 years ago?
Yeah, you remember, right?
Oh, well, it feels like a lifetime away now. That was the first life. I'm in the post-stroke life, but pre-stroke I was 25 at the time, and I was I was working on my degree with taking classes here and there, and working part-time and just trying to be a 25-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. And then you got in a car accident.
Yep.
Wow.
13 years ago in 2 days. Oh, no, tomorrow. Excuse me, tomorrow.
Tomorrow's a big day.
Yeah.
Wow. And then you were in a coma.
Yep, for 2 weeks. I had a lot of broken bones and a ruptured spleen, just a lot of injuries from the car accident, nerve damage, a closed head injury. So they put me in a coma so my body could heal and I think they do that a lot.
Yeah.
So your body can just focus on the healing and not being awake in pain.
Yeah, absolutely. That's crazy stuff. Good morning, you guys. I like to hear it. I agree with Yvonne there. You still look 25.
Oh my gosh, Yvonne, you just made my day, Yvonne. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I know. Okay, thanks, Yvonne. Not me, she says. Oh, that's funny. Okay, I'll get to you. So you're 13 years post-stroke, and so now stroke sweat squad is that's your big thing now, isn't it? Therapy.
Well, yep. So I started the stroke sweat squad. Oh, geez, maybe 5 years ago this month.
Wow, time flies.
Or 4 or 5. I don't know. The time really is flying.
Absolutely.
I just had I had a passion for exercise. Exercise really, I didn't have a lot of therapy after my stroke. Plus, I was really kind of just depressed, apathetic. I didn't participate in life whatsoever. So I really didn't participate in therapy, but maybe 5 years post-stroke, I found exercise and it really helped me. And so I started the Stroke Sweat Squad to share my journey with exercise and making improvements from my stroke.
Wow. Yeah, because it's I can see there. Someone said, and I don't know if they're paying. Yvonne, are you saying 4 years ago? Maybe somebody's saying that. And good morning, Mike. Is that maybe it's 4 or 5? Who knows?
Yeah,
But,
it's probably 4 because I think I've been working on my hand for 4 years, and
right.
and they coincide exactly the same time. So
Wow.
Yvonne's probably right. I'm glad somebody knows.
Yeah, someone's keeping track.
Right.
Oh man. So you're did you go through, like, we know we're people that have had a stroke or some kind of brain injury, we know what you're going through. Um, but did you go through all that depression stuff and
Oh, 100%. I mean, I still get depressed about it. Not as bad as in the beginning, but in
yeah,
the beginning, I always say life just happened around me. I didn't participate. I didn't enjoy life. I was on the couch watching TV or sleeping, which I preferred to sleep. If
yeah,
people would let me take an Ambien at 4 o'clock in the afternoon so I could go to sleep, I would have. I did not enjoy life.
yeah.
So
Totally understand that completely. But wow, that's good that I mean, I know what you're going through. I'm sure everybody does know that. There's Junior, as you know Junior very well. You see his comment there.
yep.
You're the reason why he works so far hard. So yeah, you're an example to everybody. And you do a Zoom call.
Yeah, every Monday we have a meeting at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, and the link is always in the group.
Right.
And I can give you the group link and you can post it, and so people can join stroke caregivers, medical professionals, just anyone who's interested. And the meeting is for survivors. We usually have a topic that we talk about that's
Right.
related to stroke, but we always end up just having a catch up session, and or if anyone has any pressing
Right.
topics you want to discuss. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I know I actually put a link in up here. That's your Stroke Sweat Squad. I mean,
That's perfect.
that's a great name. You know, I love it.
It
So
kind of it's hard to stay with because I'm sure everyone who has had a stroke, their tongue kind of goes one direction or the other. So the S's are a little hard for me, and I know they're hard for other people, but it just kind of I don't just thought of it one day.
yeah, it makes sense. I mean, stroke and sweat squad. I mean, trying to work out, and you share therapies with other people or find out what other people do. Um,
Yeah, it's a big we post videos and we talk about the therapies that have worked, what hasn't worked,
right.
and that way we are giving ideas to those that may not have tried certain things. And then I also have a YouTube channel and I share exercises, I share my journey, I share what's working, what hasn't worked, and maybe
Right.
what could work for others. And so
What's your YouTube channel? I'll tell everybody.
So are you ready for more S's? Because
Okay.
it's stroke, strength, support.
Oh, okay. Strokes. Yes. Stroke.
I know.
You take all S's on all this stuff.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. See, and look at all the inspired. I love all this. Mike
Hey,
here.
Emily.
Nice to see you, Mike. Um, nice. I love
Yes,
all that.
he's talking. I have a video where I actually went to the dollar store And if you go to the store, any store, it can be any store, but the dollar store is great because, well, everything's basically $1. And you go up and down the toy aisle, the school
Yeah.
supply aisle, the crafting aisle.
Yeah.
There's such a variety of things that could all be therapy. And so it's
So true. I mean, I go to my grandkids. I look at the ones that are little. I look at their little toys. I can, I play with them. Just I, and you're right. The dollar store has everything. That you can use for therapy. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, that's good. Nice to see you. Out there from. Oh yeah, you guys put where you're from. If you're, I don't know if you know where she's from. Out there,
Mm-mm.
she's way across the pond. Um, tell Michelle and us where you're from. I know I can't remember everything, but it's like the Dollar Tree. It's a long story there, but yeah. So you are doing a lot of therapy. What did your family think when that happened?
Uh, we don't talk a lot about it a lot. Nobody really shares a lot of details with me. I think because I was so badly injured. I was in the ICU for 2 months,
Yeah, that's crazy.
and then I went to a nursing home. So it was a long road, and so I
Yeah.
don't know a lot. I know my family was worried.
Oh, absolutely. 2 months in the in in a coma. That's just
Mhm.
amazing. Yeah. Sometimes you don't want to see it. Thanks, guys, for putting where you're from and from Ireland.
Yeah.
Love to see that. And someone I can't remember, but who was it? Put in your look at me, I can't your YouTube channel. So we appreciate that. That's nice
Yeah.
to see that. Um,
Thank you guys.
yeah. So you 2 months in a coma there, and then you
Well,
had your stroke.
yep, 2 weeks in the coma, but 2 months in ICU.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And you live back in where do you live?
So the car accident happened in Florida,
Right.
and then I actually moved about 12, well, about 10 years ago or
Oh,
so to South Dakota.
okay. Wow. In the
Yep.
Dakotas. Wow.
Yeah.
And then, so now that you're in the Dakotas, aren't you? And it get some cold. It get cold out of there. Is your body get like very sensitive to hot and cold?
So cold has always been preferred for me. I don't like to be hot. I would prefer to put on sweaters and blankets and things like that because it's probably a nostalgic thing because I grew up until I was 6 in Minnesota,
Yeah. Oh.
moved to Florida where it's stifling, and now I don't want to be in
Yeah.
that kind of climate.
Yeah. I understand that. It's how hot it is here.
Yeah, Texas, just like Florida, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah. The humidity has been really bad lately. But so what other things did you because your therapy that really when we talk therapy is what it's all about. Different therapists because you mentioned some people don't have the I don't know wherewithal to get any kind of therapy. So it's great that you provide some kind of outlet for therapy.
Of course, yeah. Well, I understand that not everyone has insurance, and not everyone has a team of doctors that
Yeah.
is really advocating for their stroke patients. And so it's super important for a stroke survivor to become their own advocate.
Yeah.
And so for those that don't have that access, for every therapist I've ever had, I've not only picked their brain, but I've also done my own research. And I became a personal trainer. I've got a couple specializations, and one of them is geared towards neurological injury recovery. And so uh, I try to share the knowledge so those that don't have access can still work on their recovery, because I believe that improvement is possible for everyone. I honestly believe that as long as somebody's willing to put forth, somebody's willing to just even try,
Yeah,
it there is improvement possible. Because
absolutely.
if you don't try, it's not possible. So
Yeah, because you said you never wanted to get out of bed until what made you decide to say, you know what, I'm gonna change my habits now.
it's actually, I don't know if my parents are the ones that talked to my aunt and uncle, but or if it was my aunt and uncle that called and said, "Hey, let's bring Michelle out here. We want to visit." But I went and visited with my aunt and uncle in Colorado.
Right,
So I got out of Florida, and Colorado, they have a mountain house as well. And so we
huh,
would go into the Rockies, and we would hike, we would walk everywhere. And I just got outside, got into that fresh air. My aunt likes to read, and so we would sit around and read books. And so I not only just kind of got I call it like that fresh air feeling, and that just that vigorating your spirit. That's a
right,
that's a hard word. Um, and and so when I got home, I just continued. I walked everywhere. I started working out harder, and I started with weight training,
right,
and I kept reading. So I kept my mind active. I stayed active physically, and it was really just that trip, and just getting out of Florida, getting into a different atmosphere,
right.
that that really lit the fire within.
Wow, that's that's terrific. So, were you ever told? 'Cause I saw someone out here. Were you ever told you plateaued?
Well, I was never told I plateaued. However, right after I got out of the nursing home, I did go to OT. Oh, and this is fun. This isn't funny, but when I got out of the nursing home at 11 months, that's when I finally saw my first occupational therapist.
Wow,
So, I mean, my therapy was a mess from the start. And so I saw this occupational therapist, and I had a few sessions. I can't tell you how many. I didn't have insurance at the time, so it couldn't have been great. But I saw her a couple times. What I remember is working on trying to zip up a zipper.
right,
And then on our last session, she gave me an adaptive booklet with tools to help with adopting things for having one hand.
right,
And so I was never told I plateaued, but the fact that I got discharged from therapy with it leaving that kind of um, impression on me, that improvement wasn't possible, because that's literally what I thought when I left, that improvement wasn't possible. This is what I had to work with, and that was it. So maybe she thought I plateaued, or maybe she just thought I wasn't putting forth the effort, which I will also say that that could be because I was apathetic. It was
yeah,
just I was in.
right, right. Yeah. So I look at it. I can probably get some questions out of here. Like Zane, you were told that you never write or talk. Did you have aphasia in the beginning, or because you had the stroke?
I did not have aphasia per se. I don't. sometimes I have trouble coming up with words.
Yeah.
My spelling is probably not as good as it was pre-stroke because
Right.
I second guess myself on the spelling of even the simplest words sometimes.
Right.
So I don't know if that's a little bit of aphasia, or if aphasia is only the speech part.
Yeah. Writing and all that is a part of aphasia.
Okay.
Writing, reading, writing. Um, but it could be a very minor. Obviously, it's a very minor case of it. And
Yeah.
spelling right, yeah. But that's true.
Okay. So those are the things that I have trouble with as far as the language goes. I don't. Did you have trouble swallowing?
Oh, in the beginning. Oh, yeah. In the beginning, yeah.
Do you still?
Not swallowing.
Okay. I still
But
struggle with that. And
really,
yes.
wow, wow. There was a comment here, but Mike again. Mike was he? I don't know if he's paying attention because he asked how your mental health was.
Well, not great. And that's really an aspect that I focus on a lot. Not only do I share exercise ideas and habit formation, things like that, but I also talk about mindset a lot
Right?
because in the
Yeah.
beginning, it was so I was not in a good headspace. I was, like I said, depressed. I was just depressed, very much so. And now I understand how important mindset is. It's really everything because one little thought can change your entire perspective on something. One thought can change the way you proceed in doing something. It can really change your whole day. And so I'm big into mindset, and I've got just it's a video series that's within the Stroke Squad group that talks all about. There's 5 different videos about mindset, and like I said, and I also do it with the YouTube channel.
Right. And during COVID, how did you do during COVID when when we all couldn't go anywhere? That part of it.
I feel like because I'm in South Dakota, I felt like I was in a bubble. Like this COVID thing didn't really hit us right away.
Right.
And I was working at the time and I went to work. And so I never really had a moment where COVID stopped my life
Wow.
completely.
Good for you.
I still went to therapy. We just wore the masks. And so I think, and I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for that little bubble that I had. But I yeah, I know it affected a lot of people with their therapy and things like that. And that's why I'm so glad that a lot of therapy has been able to go online.
Right? Yeah.
It also spurred an idea that I was going to build a web-based app that has therapy for people to access. So
Wow.
I'm learning, and I'm going to try to do it myself. So we'll see. It's kind of going to be like my baby, like my pet project, my passion project. And it's going to take some time, but it's the idea.
Yeah. Wow. Good for you. And that's a big feat there, but you'll do
Yeah,
great at
it'll
that.
take some time. Yeah, but
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, I'm trying to think. You're that didn't affect you, the COVID thing, whichever it affected. Well, I don't about me, getting complacent, not doing anything. But there's no excuse.
but it's not an excuse, but it's circumstances, and that's a form of depression, and I think that happened to a lot of people
Yeah.
where you just don't have that outside extrinsic that outside motivation coming from someone else,
Right.
and it's hard to keep that internal motivation going. That's
Right.
why habits are so important, really, because do you feel like you do better when you have a routine of going to therapy and then doing it at home? And
Absolutely. 100%. So what's your daily routine now?
so now first thing when I get up, I either have breakfast, but the first thing I actually physically do is therapy. I do occupational therapy on my left hand. I I stack Jenga blocks, which I got
Yeah.
at the dollar store. I pick up poker chips, which I got at the dollar store.
Yeah.
I do a triangle peg game where I put all the pegs in the holes and do that exercise with my left hand. And I got that at the dollar store. And I got a new peg exercise, which mimics the one that you have in OT with those circular pegs that are like that long.
Right.
And so now I have that one as well that I've added to. And I've got a whole box of just a bunch of therapy things, and I'm just going to keep adding to it. But so my daily routine is to do that first thing. I'm trying to add a midday time where I do it, and then I do it again at 6 p.m.
Wow. Talking
So
about motivation. My gosh.
habits,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly. Wow. I can't even read these because they're come in so fast, but it's so motivating to hear all your daily routine. First thing you do is the therapy. So one side, you're still effective. I mean, you see improvement because
I
obviously,
do. I track everything, and tracking not only helps you remember what you did and how it felt, but it also helps you see those little improvements, because improvement with stroke is so small and so sometimes few and far between. And so it's hard to see the big picture. I mean, the little increments of improvement from this wide perspective of the past year. But when you can see it written down,
yeah,
that's really where the motivation comes. And then from that point, I love what Salud said, because that just popped out at me. Routines, habits are the key to keep moving forward. Really, it
yeah,
really is. And tracking has been the motivation for me. And it also helps me see the things I've tried and know what of those things helps and what doesn't help. So that way I know what to keep doing when I'm not seeing an occupational therapist.
yeah. I 100%. I was going to say, but Yvonne said it. Uh, it's very subtle. It's so true though. So maybe I haven't seen you videotape those little things you do. Are they on your YouTube channel?
I haven't posted those on my YouTube channel, although I've been thinking about doing that because I share my progress. I kind of just talk through them for
Right.
myself as well as when I post them. That way it's not just like complete dead silence of me just doing exercises, but I really should post them on my YouTube. I did just recently do a 2-year comparison video.
Wow.
So and the difference is very noticeable.
Yeah, it is. It's funny because I do all mine as much as I can just to see what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong. And like
Yes.
you just said, you in a 2 year, um, you see the big changes.
Yeah. It it's hard to see the day to day, but it's easy when you can look back. It's especially great when you can watch it. I wish I had started videotaping sooner.
Yeah.
Um, and I videotape probably too much now, but at least I have that there and
Right?
just shoot it to the cloud and pull it when I need it.
Yeah. Um, Sarah, that's exactly right. I mean, uh, I know we talked about you, like your therapist picking brains or trying to find other therapies that work for somebody else that you may not see. But she had mentioned about two. She glued two or three together. That's a
I
great
didn't
idea.
even do that because that's a wonderful idea. It adds weight to it, so it's slightly variable and so that'd be great.
Yeah. That, that wow. So what now? Is there any you're one side affected? So how's your walking and arms? Is there any issue with that?
I have a slight limp, and one leg is shorter than the other due to uh, surgeries and things like that.
Right.
So there's a slight limp, and it could be related to my stroke side as well. Um, as far as like swinging my arm, that was hard to learn, and I don't know that I do that necessarily every single time I walk. Sometimes it's
Right.
probably pretty still, but I kind of learned how to
Yeah.
do
Yeah. Absolutely. Um, e- exactly. I don't. IDK. Do you know IDK? Sorry if I don't know, but your sign. Well, this one here. Looks like the sign it cured my snoring. Um, I don't know what to say there, but that's the sinuses were paralyzed, but cured your snoring. That's a good thing. Um,
that.
but wow. So yeah. Thanks for saying it again, Kelly. Strokes, strength, support.
Yep.
That's
The S is I don't, I probably got a little carried away, it's exactly what the message I am trying to um, get out there because, like I said, I believe that there's improvements to be made for everyone, and I just want everyone to have access to help to make those improvements.
exactly. So it's every Monday at um, one, and anybody can jump on.
Anyone can join the Zoom. Yes, I have the link in the group, and if you're not a member, please uh, ask to join and just answer the questions. So I know that everyone is a survivor or caregiver or family member, medical professional. Just and then the meetings are on Monday. I always post the link in my group, Stroke Buddies. I
Yeah,
I don't post it in your group as often as I should because I don't want to bombard too many people with it. So I post it in just a few groups, but I'm gonna
you.
start posting in your group, Jerry.
Yeah, please do because there's a lot of people that they probably could use it. All the therapies and things that you're doing. There was a comment here, Paul Hahn. Nice to see you, Paul, and Paul Cummings. Nice to see you. Do you can you jog or run?
I am a jogger on the inside because I love it, but I didn't realize I loved jogging until I
Right?
really couldn't do it. So I have tried to be that jogger, but it's just not healthy for my joints.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, you so there's your answer there, Paul. Um, but so now, what would you tell someone else that's going through? Because you mentioned we still have those days where we're like, I mean, I kind of hide them, but I have them. Those depressed days. I just can't. How do you handle that, or what could you tell somebody that's going through this?
So the first thing I would say that, and when I have the moments where it just seems overwhelming, I'm not afraid to cry a little bit. So it helps, but it also helps to just breathe and take a moment and think about something that you're grateful for. And and if it's related to your stroke, even better. I try to think about something that I can do versus something I can't do.
Right.
I try to think about the strengths that I do have versus thinking about the areas in my life where I'm weak and where I need to do better. Um, it's just about switching that perspective. And again, back to mindset. It's so powerful. It I didn't realize it. I really thought it was just a bunch of crap mindset. But it is not. And affirmations are my best friend. I scroll through them, I post them on Facebook, I use them daily. They are, and I could explain the science behind how they work in the brain, but I'm not gonna to take the time from the show. But
Oh, you could.
they they really help switch that perspective around.
Wow. Yeah, you're welcome to talk about that. We have some time about your affirmations because I know, well, I've talked to thousands of people that it's just shocking how many people don't, well, they don't say anything, but they tell us their affirmations
Yeah,
and why
so
that helps.
they really do help. So we have a subconscious, well, everyone, we have a subconscious, and our subconscious doesn't know the difference between what is literal and what is unreal. And so if we have this mantra in our head like, I will never be able to walk again.
Mm,
I will not, I'll never be able to use my left hand. I'm never going to do this or that. Our subconscious takes that in and is like, okay, we're never going to do that. And, but it works in reverse as well. So when you say affirmations and you say, I am capable, I am determined, I, I can walk to the bathroom and I can walk down these stairs. It I mean those are very physical examples, but it works with your state of mind as well. Let me go back to I am capable. Now,
yeah, absolutely.
but the subconscious is going to believe those statements as well and take them as literal. So we want to say the affirmations, the positives. And so our subconscious remembers those, and we say it enough times that it it becomes real and we start to believe it. And
Yeah,
whatever our subconscious is thinking, it's out there looking for proof of that thing. And so if we're thinking the negatives, the subconscious is going to look for the proof of the negative. But if we're thinking positive, the subconscious is going to find those elements of our day to day that prove that positive right. So we just have to keep with the positive mindset. It's hard sometimes,
yeah.
but that's why I scroll the affirmations.
Wow, that's great to hear. Wow, wow. Do you say them out loud?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, they actually people do recommend saying them in front of the mirror, looking at yourself, because that's a very powerful thing to do. And it gives you that visual as well as the saying it out loud
Right.
and the hearing of it. And so it's a very powerful thing for the brain to take in. And so that's really recommended. But then saying them out loud is probably secondary to that.
Okay.
I fully admit I don't do it enough, but it, like I said, it's a powerful moment, and the brain takes that in.
Yeah, I believe it 100%. Wow. So, what else do we want to mention about? Because I think we really go into that. I like stroke, sweat squad. Sorry. Um,
Yeah.
how you share all those wonderful ideas for therapy, and we really need to. I think we really need to promote that more.
And I'm not the only one that shares. Other survivors are sharing what they're doing, and
Yeah.
so it's really a big session of talking about exercise and talking about therapy. And
Right.
right now on my YouTube channel, I'm going through 22 exercises that I did starting 4 years ago
Wow.
to work on my hand, to get my hand from grabbing things with the full fist to now pinching things with my index and my forefinger. So now and so I'm going through 22 exercises that got me from where I was to where I am. And you know what? Since we talked about it today, I'll actually post that 2 year
Wow.
side by side that I did video, or back to back that I did video on my YouTube channel, so people can see the difference that these exercises made for me. And so hopefully they can make them for you. And I'm a huge believer in electrical stimulation.
Oh,
So
you
those
are?
are exercises that I share as well.
Wow. Okay. So like E-stem or something like that, or
Yes.
wow, that's awesome. Good for you. I'm I I feel like so bad that I mean you are doing this 3 times a day.
Working up to it. I'm 2 times a day for sure. And then I'm trying to incorporate this midday one. So
Right.
I
Good for
mean,
you.
after the stroke, our job is to get better, to work on
Yeah.
therapy.
Exactly. And you're certainly a good example, a great example doing this. So I appreciate it. So,
Well, I appreciate you, and now you made my day too, Jerry.
ah,
Not just Yvonne, but you as well.
yeah. Thank you, Yvonne. You remember that? Yeah. So, but I really appreciate it again. And any last words that you would like to say, or because there's so many things I know you can talk about, which is inspiring. So
I just the beginning of my stroke journey was so difficult, and it was a longer process than it needed to be. And so I really just want everyone to know that there's somebody out there who has been where you've been and who can help you get to where you need to go. And anyone can reach out to me. Um, I will get I, anyone can reach out to me basically. And I try to help people avoid the mistakes, avoid some of the pitfalls that I fell into. I just want everyone else's recovery journey to be easier than mine has been. So I really just want everyone to know that improvement is possible. I as long as you are willing to have faith in the possibility and try, then the possibility is there for you to get.
absolutely. So yeah, and if you are reaching out to Michelle, what I would my suggestion, because there's a lot of people out there in this world that are scammers, just say where you saw Michelle today, just to be safe. There's a lot. I've seen this before, so that's
Yeah,
my little
that
two
would
cents.
help. And yes, and I would love to know that they saw the show. That'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, thank you, Heather, and thank you, Michelle. I appreciate so much you being on here.
Of
Uh,
course.
yeah, it'd be great to do one with you, just talking about every therapy that, that suggestions out there, which you did a lot of them today. So
I would 100% do another one. I'll bring all my items and give
yeah,
ideas for everything. I mean, I would go through the 22 exercises with everyone at anytime, anytime.
that would be terrific. I would love that. And, I'll put you on full screen. They just show the therapies that you do. And they really, because there's a lot of stuff that I'm just learning after 12 years. So,
Yeah, I know. I want to pick your brain too. That's what I said yesterday. I want to pick your brain because I want to know what your therapists are telling you. I want to take everyone. I just want to know everything so I can have ideas for myself and help other people with ideas. And so I combine therapies and just so I can't wait to pick your brain because like, you are learning new ones as well.
yeah, absolutely. It's terrific. So, well, you guys enjoy your day. And I'm sure what I usually do is go through the comments, and if there's some that I missed, sorry, but we'll go through them. So, anyway, Michelle, thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.